Hello students, welcome to time classes. This is linear arrangement part 2. Handout code is LRHO 3501809. I hope everybody has the correct handout. Question 17 to 20. These questions are based on the following information. 7 sports persons A, B, G, H, L, M and Z sit in a bench facing north, not necessarily in the same order. Each of them plays a different game among cricket, tennis, badminton, golf, soccer, rugby, and hockey. Now, there are two things you have to mark. One, we make 7 positions, assuming all are facing north. This we discuss because in this manner, their left becomes our left and their right becomes our right. Now, you have to place names also as well as the game which they flow. The game and names both are to be plotted on this linear arrangement. So we write name on the top of the line and games at the bottom of the position. So we distribute them into two parts. Reading point number 1. A sit third to the left of the person, comma who plays soccer. Now this comma who is for the person who plays soccer. That means anybody who is playing soccer, its third left position is occupied by A. And the statement continues. And third to the right of H. He is talking about A only. A sit third to the right of H. A sit third to the left of the person who play soccer. Directions are also given. Soccer's third left is A. H third right is A. And there are only 7 positions. So can we safely conclude that one position is occupied by H? Its third to the right is A, that is seat number 4. 7th position is occupied by person who played soccer. We do not know name, so we write game below the position. And its third left is the position occupied by A. This is the only possible case which can be fixed. So indirectly, by keeping A at the center, he had fixed its third left as well as third right. Indirectly, this statement can also be said as the person who is sitting third to the left of A is H, as well as the person who plays soccer is third to the right of A. That is at position 7. We are writing names above and games below. So first point we correctly infer and we plot it also. Now point number 2. Only 2 persons sit between L and the person who play tennis. How do we write this? Only 2 persons sit between L and the person who play tennis. That means L, then 2 position, then third position is occupied by a person who play tennis. It can be swapped also. That means tennis, then 2 position, then a person named L. It's a big statement. Further he says, the person who played tennis is neither second to the left of the one who plays soccer. Second to the left of the one who plays soccer is not tennis. Soccer is at seat number 7. The person who plays soccer is at seat number 7. Its first left is seat number 6. Its second left is seat number 5. The person who played tennis is neither second to the left of the one who plays soccer. That means whosoever come at seat number 5 cannot play tennis. Nor the second to the right of H. Now we know the position of H. H is at seat number 1. Its first right, seat number 2. Its second right, seat number 3. That means statement says the person who plays tennis is neither the second to the left of the one who plays soccer, we already marked, nor second to the right of H. That means this position cannot be occupied by a person who play tennis. Further he says, the person who plays soccer is not adjacent to the one who play tennis. The person who plays soccer is at seat number 7. So tennis cannot come at seat number 6 also. Indirectly, a lot of statements are talking about tennis. So somewhere we can start from this point. Tennis cannot be at seat number 3. Tennis cannot be at seat number 5. Tennis cannot be at seat number 6. Straight away ruled out. Seat number 7 is occupied by a person who plays soccer. Tennis cannot come. Then point number second says there are two persons between the person who played tennis and L. If tennis comes at seat number 1, then L has to come at seat number 4, which is not a possible case because that seat is occupied by A. So tennis cannot come at 1 also. So there are two positions left for tennis. One position is tennis can be only at position 2 or position 4. If tennis is at position 2, then L will come at position 5. If tennis will be at position 4, then L will come at position 7. Only two possible cases are there. We will not be drawing the diagram again. We move to further statement. It may possible we get some clue. One case may ruled out. But till now, what we conclude, what we infer, the tennis can be at either at seat number 2 or seat number 4. When we read the third point, the person who played golf sits second to the left of the person who played tennis. If tennis is seat number 2, then it's second left, there is no chair left. I'm reading it again. The person who played golf sits second to the left of the person who played tennis. If tennis comes at seat number 2, then there is no position left for the person who played golf. So tennis cannot come at seat number 2 also. Can we say tennis can come only at seat number 4? Only position 4. Because if tennis is at seat number 2, I am repeating it again. Point third says the person who played golf sits second to the left of the person who played tennis. Second to the left of the person who played tennis, it should be golf. But if tennis is at position 2, there is no position left second to its left. So we can safely say tennis can only be at position 4. Now if tennis is at position 4, by using point second, we can safely mark the position of L. Because point 2 says only two persons sit between L and the person who play tennis. So L will come at seat number 7. This is by default fixed. If we read point third once again, the person who play golf sits second to the left of the person who played tennis. That means position of, if tennis is at seat number 4, then its first left is seat number 3, second left is seat number 2. So position of golf can be fixed. Yes, we can fix position of golf. The person who play golf is second to the left of the one who play tennis. But is not adjacent to either G or Z. Now the person who play golf is not adjacent to either G or Z. Now on left side of the person who play golf, the position is already occupied by H. So indirectly we can say that at position number 3, G and Z cannot come. That's for sure. Because statement says the person who play golf sits second to the left of the person who play tennis. We already use, but is not adjacent to either G or Z. Till now we use point third fully. Position 3 cannot be G or Z. Then point fourth. B is neither adjacent to A nor play golf. B is not adjacent to A nor play golf. So B cannot come at seat number 3 nor 5 because these are adjacent to A. B cannot come at seat number 2 because at seat number 2 the person play golf. So position of B is only left, that is position 6. Point 4 says position 6. I'm reading it once again. Point 4 says B is neither adjacent to A. Adjacent to A are seat number 3 and 5. They cannot be occupied by B. Nor plays golf. B does not play golf. So it cannot come at seat number 2. So only one position is left which goes to B, that is position number 6. Now out of 7, H, A, B, L positions are fixed. And at seat number 3, G and Z cannot come. So 6 persons are already being named. H, A, B, L position allotted. G, Z cannot come at seat number 3. So who will come at seat number 3? It's M, the person which is not named. Because till now all 4 positions have been marked. And GZ cannot come at seat number 3. So it's M. Now this we infer in between. So we place the position of M. Now this helps us in decoding statement 5. Only 2 persons sit between M and the person who play badminton. M is at seat number 3. Left and right he doesn't mention. 2 place to the left of M. 2 place is not asking. 2 person in between. That means 3 place to its left. There is no position. So only possible case is to be right. Only 2 persons sit between M and the person who play badminton. M is at seat number 3. So badminton comes at seat number 6. That means B plays badminton. Only 2 persons sit between M and the person who play badminton. It's M and B. Between there only 2 persons. So that comes out to be M is position fixed, seat number 3. So badminton will come at seat number 6. Now coming to next point, point number 6. G does not play cricket or golf. Now we are using part statement. G cannot play golf. So G has to be at seat number 5. If G is at seat number 5, then who is left? That is Z. Z will be at seat number 2. We are not violating any condition. Point number 3 says the person who play golf sits second to the left of the person who play tennis but is not adjacent to either G or Z. It is not saying that G or Z cannot be at seat number 2. They can be. But G or Z cannot be at seat number 3. Now reading point 6 once again. G does not play cricket or golf. Then partly H does not play cricket. Now G does not play cricket. H does not play cricket. Someone has to play cricket. Who should be that fellow? That is M. Sure? G does not play cricket or golf. H does not play cricket or rugby. H does not play rugby. Only one person is left. That is G at position 5. So somebody has to play rugby. H does not play rugby. So who will play rugby? G. Then which game is left? One game is left. Now you have to look above. It's hockey. So H will play hockey. This completes our whole arrangement. Am I clear? Only game left is hockey and only position for game left is at seat number 1. So hockey comes at 1. Now we move to first question. Who plays badminton? Straightforward answers are who plays badminton? B plays badminton. So option B. Next question. How many persons sit between Z and the person who play rugby? Z and the person who play rugby, how many persons are there in between? 2 persons, M and A. They play cricket and tennis. So how many persons are sit between Z and the person who play rugby are 2. So option is B. Which game does Z play? Which game does Z play? Z plays golf. Option C. Which game does Z play? Z play golf. Option C. Then, which of the following statement are true? First statement, H plays hockey. Perfectly right. Correct. Should we mark A or should we move further? There is an option given, all are true. So we have to check others also. B option says B plays badminton. This is also correct. C option says Z play golf. This is also correct. So answer comes out to be all are true. So we'll mark option as D. I hope this is clear. How do you write your statement? Actually decide the way you are leading to. You have to write clearly and have a clear notations. Question number 21 to 25. This is a different case in which six people are sitting in row 1. A, B, C, D, E, F facing north. Row 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 position are numbered facing north, but not necessarily in the same order. And 6 person P, Q, R, S, T, U are sitting in row 2 facing south. Each person from one row face exactly one person from the other row. Each person from one row face exactly one person from the other row. Now, people sitting in row 1, their left and right aligns with us. So in row 1, seat number 1 is the left end and seat number 6 is the right end. But in row 2, that is those who are sitting in front of us, their right end is seat number 1 and their left end is seat number 6 because they are facing south. This have to be keep into consideration when we are marking the answers. 6 persons, row 1, A, B, C, D, E, F are in row 1 and P, Q, R, S, T, U are in row 2. P, Q, R, S are facing south, A, B, C, D, E, F are facing north. Now points. B is to the immediate left of C, who does not face Q. Now first of all, B and C are together and B is to the immediate left of C. C is facing north, B is to the immediate left of C, comma who? Who does not face Q. This who is for Q. Sorry, this who is for C. C does not face Q. Or Q does not face C. Then he says Q is third to the left of R. Now P, Q, R, S are in row 2 and he says Q is third to the left of R. That's point number 1. Point number 2 says neither Q nor C sits at the ends. So many information we are getting about C and Q. We start with this. Q is third to the left of R. So we take an assumption. We put R at seat number 1 facing south. Its first left is 2. Second left is seat number 3. Third left is seat number 4. That occupied by Q. But this is a pure assumption. So we make one more case. That's case 1. This is case 2. And in this case, we place R at seat number 2. So Q will come at seat number 5. Now we cannot further shift R and Q to one step. Otherwise Q comes at end, which is not possible as per point second. So we try to take these two cases together. First case, we had taken R at seat number 1 in row 2. So Q come at seat number 4. Second case, R at seat number 2. Then Q will be at seat number 5. Because statement says, first point, second part says Q is third to the left of R. We cannot shift further, otherwise Q will come at the end, which is negated in statement number 2. Neither Q nor C sits at the ends. First point says B is to the immediate left of C, comma who does not faces Q. C cannot come in front of Q. Also Q does not sit at the end. So we made a simple case. We mark in case 1 C at position 5. So B will be at position 4. And we mark C at position 4 in case 2. So B will be at position 3. In case 2, C cannot come at position 6. It will be at the end. C cannot come at position 5. It will be in front of Q. So C will be at position 4. So B will be at position 3. Now please read second statement again. Second part of second statement. B is to the right of F and D. Indirectly, can we infer F and D are both to the left of B? Reading it again. B is to the right of both F and D. B, F, D are sitting in the same row. B is to the right of both F and D. So we can say F and D are sitting to the left of B. So in case 1, out of 1 to 3 position, 2 position will be occupied by F and D. So if we shift B and C one step further, C will come in front of Q. And if we shift one step further, then F and D both cannot come to the left of B. So case 1, no other scenario is possible. Please think it once again. In case 1, C cannot come at position 6, cannot be at the end. If C is at position 5, B is at position 4, perfectly right. C cannot be at position 4, otherwise it will face Q. If C will be at position 3 and B will be at position 2, then F and D both cannot come to the left of B. So case 1 only possible scenario. In case 2, to the left of B there are only 2 positions left and that to be occupied by F and D. So we cannot shift it further. Because F and D both has to be left of B, because second point says B is to the right of both F and D, or F and D both are to the left of B. So up till now we had used both point together 1 and 2. That's for sure. I hope this is clear. Then he says D faces the person who is third to the right of T. D is in row 1, T is in row 2, T is facing south, D is facing north. Lot of information is given. Comma who? This who is for T. Who faces E? Indirectly, D is facing a person who is third to the right of T. T is facing south. And in front of T it is E. E is facing north. Now third to the left of third, D faces the person who is third. Sorry, third to the right of T. So third to the right of T is somebody will come and in front of that person is D as shown in the box. I read statement number 3 once again. D faces the person, D is in row 1, who is third to the right of T. T faces south. Comma who? T faces E. Now we have to fix this box as it is in both the cases. That means T and E has to be in front of each other. Then T is third right. Whosoever will come, he will face D. Now if you see this box can be fitted in case 1 very easily. T and E come at position 6. Then its third to the right is position number 3, which is vacant, in front of which D will come, which is also vacant. So case 1 is possible as we can fix this box. Case 1 is possible. So position of D can also come, position number 3. Case 2 is not possible as box cannot be inserted. Please check once again. I'm going back. I want to insert this box in case 1. So only position T and E will come at this position and position of D is also fixed. So T faces E and if T is at seat number 6, third to its right is seat number 3 in front of which D can come. I cannot shift them further to the right, otherwise there will be no position for E. Case 2 is not possible as I can place T and E at seat number 6, but there will be no position for D because in row 1 position 3 is already occupied by B. So case 2, as box cannot be inserted, so this case is rejected. Case 2 is surely rejected. So we are left with only one case. I hope this is clear. So now concentrating only on the first case. Then he says P sits second to the left of the person who faces A. A is in row 1. There are two positions left, seat 1 and seat 2. If A comes at seat number 2, then A faces a person who is at seat number 2 in row 2. P sits second to the left of the person who faces A. Now in row 2, second to the left, whosoever will come, its second left is seat number 4, which is already occupied by Q. So if we place A at seat number 2 in row 1, there is no seat for P in row 2. So A cannot come at seat number 2. I am repeating it once again. P is in row 2, second to the left of the person who faces A. In row 2, if A comes at seat number 2, it faces seat 2 in row 2. A is in row 1, faces seat 2 in row 2. Its first left is seat number 3 because person is facing south. Its second left is seat number 4. Q is there, P cannot come. Hence, we can safely say A cannot come at seat number 2. So A will come, no place for P, so A will come at seat number 1. If A comes at seat number 1, he is facing R is facing south. Its first left is seat number 2, its second left is seat number 3, which is occupied by P. This is possible. Then he says, in first row, only one position was left, and one person was left, that is occupied by F. Point number 5 says, S is not an immediate neighbor of P. In row 2, there are only two positions vacant, seat number 2 and seat number 5. S cannot come at seat number 2, otherwise it becomes immediate neighbor of P, which is statement is saying it's not possible. So S comes at seat number 5. So one person is left, which will come in row 2 in seat number 2, and its name is. This complete the whole arrangement. S is not an immediate neighbor of P, so S cannot come at seat number 2. So only position left vacant was seat number 5. So S comes at seat number 5. Then only one position left, one person left, that is U. So U comes at seat number 2. I hope this is clear. Let's move to the questions. Who faces F? F is at seat number 2, row 1. Who faces F? It's U. Option D. Question 22nd. Who sits second to the left of P? Now P is at seat number 3 in row 2 facing south. Its first left is Q, seat number 4. Its second left is S, seat number 5. So who sits second to the left of P? It's S. Our option is D. It's S, option D. Question 23rd. Which of the following is true based on the given information? First point, P faces F. This is wrong because P faces D or F faces U. Second, S sits second to the left of the person who faces B. Q faces B, its first left is occupied by S, second left is occupied by T. So B option is also wrong. C, A, P, T, E are sitting at the ends. As per our diagram, A, E, T, R are sitting at the ends. So if P would have been replaced by R, then this option would have been true. but it is wrong now. Option D, A sits second to the left of D. D's first left is F, second left is A because D is facing north. So this option is true. Our answer comes out to be option D. Question 24. What is the position of D with respect to E? What is the position of D with respect to E? E is facing north. D is to the left of E. First left is C. Second left of E is B. Third left is D. So answer is third to the left of E. So answer is option A. Question 25. 4 out of the following 5 are alike in a certain way. 4 are alike and one is the odd man out. You have to find the odd man out. Find the one that does not belong to that group. First says R and A. They are facing the same direction. They are facing each other. Sorry. They are facing each other. P and D. They are facing each other. Q and B. They are facing each other. F and Q are not facing each other. So 3 options are facing each other. One option is not facing each other. So answer is RA, PD and QB are facing each other. So our answer comes out to be F and Q not facing each other. Option is D. I hope this is clear. It's a good set. And in this case, 2 directions are to be considered. One aligns with yours, second opposite of yours. Now question number 26 to 30. I'm reading it. 7 persons A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z live on a different floors of a 8-story building. Now floors are 8, persons are 7 and one floor is vacant. That is ground floor is numbered as the first floor. The first floor just above the ground floor is the second floor and so on until the topmost floor is numbered as the 8th floor. People are 7, persons are 7 and floor building with how many floors are there? 8. One floor is vacant. Which one we do not know. Ground floor is numbered as floor number 1, floor above the ground floor, floor number 2 and so on till we get the 8th floor. The following information is known about them. There are 2 persons who live between the vacant floor and B. There are 2 persons who live between the vacant floor and B, comma, who is not adjacent to Z. Now this who is for B. B is not adjacent to Z. So it may possible vacant floor, then 2 floor in between, then a floor occupied by B, or B, then 2 floor in between, then a vacant floor. And further condition it says B is not adjacent to Z. B and Z cannot occupy consecutive floors. Just a representation. B and Z cannot occupy consecutive floors. I'm reading it again. There are 2 persons who live between the vacant floor. There's only one vacant floor and B, comma, who is not adjacent to Z. B is not adjacent to Z and vacant floor, then 2 floors, then B, or B, 2 floors, then vacant floor. Further says Z is 2 floor away from D. Z is 2 floor away from D. 2 floor away means 1 floor in between. Z is 2 floor away from D. That means Z floor, then a floor, then D's floor. Or D's floor, between a floor, then Z floors. But not adjacent to vacant floor. So Z is not adjacent to vacant floor. Z is not adjacent to vacant floor. That means vacant just above or below the vacant floor, Z cannot come. Or any floor in which Z is occupied, vacant floor cannot be the floor above or below it. Then says X is adjacent to D. They are on consecutive floors, comma who? This who is for D, who lives below the vacant floor. Z is, sorry, X is adjacent to D. It may be DX or XD. They are in consecutive floors. And D comma who? D is below the vacant floor. So below vacant floor is above D's floor. We can safely say vacant floor is above X floor also. And between D and Z there is a gap of one floor. And Z is not adjacent to vacant floor also. All this condition has to be combined somewhere. Then the number of person, next point, the number of person living on the floor above C floors is equal to the number of person living B's floor, A floor. Now please, he's talking about persons, not floors. The number of persons living on the floor above C floor is equal to the number of person living below A floor. And further condition says both A and C lives on an even number of floor. Now even floor numbers are 2, 4, 6 and 8. Both A and C has to be even number of floor, and number of persons living above C's floor is equal to the number of person below A's floor. Both A and C live on an even number of floor. And then further he says a point, Y floor is not adjacent to A floor. A and Y cannot be together. They cannot be adjacent floors. If I summarize it, vacant floor and B's floor, there should be two floor in between. Z floor and D's floor, there should be one floor in between. D has to be adjacent to X floor. It can be DX or XD. But D has to come below vacant floor. Then he says number of person that lives above C floor is equal to the number of person which lives below A floor. Both A and C live on an even number of floors. Even number of floors are 2, 4, 6 and 8. And Y floor is not adjacent to A's floor. This is what the statement, what we can read, comprehend and then write. What we can infer. ZDX can occupy first 3 floors or first 4 floors. Its simple logic is somewhere B and Z cannot be together, and between D and Z there is only one floor, and vacant floor is above D's floor. Can you say safely vacant floor, below vacant floor D and X will be there, and D and X there should be Z also there, third person, third floor. So at least 3 floor will be there below the vacant floor. So vacant floor cannot come at 1, 2, 3. Also vacant floor cannot come at 4 just to satisfy the condition that both A and C are required even number of floor, and both A and C cannot occupy the 8th floor. Suppose A or C, one of them go at the 8th floor. So number of person above that, number of person living above that floor is 0. So other will come at the floor number 2nd. Now floor number 2nd is again a even number floor. Then vacant floor has to come at seat number 1, which negates the condition because vacant floor is above D's floor and D and X are together. I am repeating it once again. Suppose A and C, one of them goes at the 8th floor. So number of person living above 8th floor is 0. So the left one, C or A, will come at floor number 2. Both has to occupy even floor. So there should be no person living below that particular floor, that is seat floor number 2. That simply means vacant floor has to be floor number 1, which is not possible because D lives below vacant floor. So ZDX can occupy first 3 floors or first 1 to 4 floors, and A and C cannot occupy the 8th floor. Nobody lives above the 8th floor. Then we can further say only possibility for A and C be second and sixth floor. Just to mention two conditions simultaneously, both A and C live on even number of floors, and the number of person living above C's floor is equal to the number of person living below A's floor. This is only possible when A and C both occupy 2 and 6 floor. So below 2 floor there is one person. So above 6 floor also there should also be one person. That means vacant floor has to be 8th or 7th. Keeping in mind position of B, which also comes in between. Now B is 2 floor, B and vacant floor, there are 2 floors in between, or vacant and B floor 2 floor in between, but vacant can be either at 7 or 8. So keeping in mind the position of B which comes in between, we place Z at the first floor. We are leaving the floor, even floor 2 and 6 for A and C. Then D comes at floor number 3. We are not putting X at floor number 2. That floor left is for A or C. Then X comes at seat number 4. So we satisfy two conditions, that D and X are together. There is a one floor between D and Z, satisfied. And vacant floor is above D's floor. That's also satisfied. Now vacant floor cannot be at floor number 2. So we can leaving an even floor for A and C. Then B comes at floor number 5. So vacant floor goes to floor number 8 because vacant can only be 7 or 8. So it's 8th position. Now this 6th floor is for A or C. Second floor is for A or C. Then second floor is for C or A. Then who will come at this floor? That is floor number 7. I am repeating it again. 6th floor is for A and C. Second floor is for C or A. Only one floor is left, 7th. So 7th floor is for which person whose name has not been named yet now? That is Y. 7th floor is for Y. So we put Y at the 7th floor. But since Y is at the 7th floor, so 6th floor cannot be occupied by A because A and Y cannot come together. So we can say 6th floor, C will come, A will not come. So then who will go at second floor? That will A. This is the only possible case we have. I can repeat it once again. 6th floor is for A or C. Second floor is for C or A. Then who will come at the 7th floor? 7th floor, A or C cannot come because their floors are 6th and 2nd. So 7th floor is for Y. So Y comes at 7th floor. Now last point says Y floor is not adjacent to A floor. So who will come at 6th floor, that is adjacent to Y floor? It's C. So who will come at floor number 2? That's A. This completes the whole arrangement. I hope this is clear. It's a good set. Now we move to questions. Who among the following is adjacent to C's floor? Both B and Y are there. They are adjacent to C's floor. But in option only B is mentioned. So who among the following is adjacent to C floor? It's B. Option C. 4 of the following are alike in a certain way and hence forms a group. Which is the one that does not belong to that group? Now just see the options. They are asking for odd man out. Y is at 7th floor. B is at 5th floor. Z is at 1st floor. A is at 2nd floor. So 3% out of the 4 given among the options live on odd number floor and 1% is live on the even number of floor. So odd one out is A, that lives on 2nd floor. Option D. Next question. How many floors are above A's floor? A is at floor number 2. How many floors are there above A floor? They are 6. Option A. A is at floor number 2, 8-story building. How many persons are living above A floor? Had this would have been question, then my answer would have been 5. But he's asking how many floors are above A floor? 6. Option A. Who among the following lives on the 4th floor? It is X. Option B. Then, which of the following is true regarding the given information? A. The topmost floor is the one which is vacant. That's perfectly correct. But we have to check other options. The topmost floor is the one which is vacant. Yes. B. Only 2% live between Y's and D's floor. No, this is not the case. 3% live between Y and D floor. A lives adjacent to vacant floor. That is also wrong. Y live adjacent to vacant floor, not A. Option B is ruled out. Option C is ruled out. Option D. D lives on an even numbered floor, which is wrong. D lives on 3rd floor. So out of the 4 options, only one is correct. That is option A. The topmost floor is the one which is vacant. Yes, correct. So our answer is option A. That's our answer. Am I clear? I hope this is clear to all. Thank you. Thanks.